Were angry. Opposition leaders promised to bring peace and address the country's problems. The state retaliated with violence.
This was the intersection where Pradyumna was shot. Back in 2006, there were hundreds of thousands of people on this ring road surrounding the capital. After 19 days of protest, they managed to topple the royal government. It was a time of great optimism. But 5 years and 4 prime ministers on, people have started to question the success of the movement.
Prabha is greatly disappointed.
So many people were sacrificed, so many people were wounded, and now all that the leaders want is political power. When I think back on it, my heart becomes so heavy.
After the People's Movement, the monarchy was abolished. This used to be the royal palace. Now it's the foreign ministry. These people are queuing for passports. Almost 1,000 people leave the country every day in search of a better future. Suresh Chowdhury has come to Kathmandu from the countryside to get his documents.
There is no possibility of getting employment in this country. We've got democracy, but so what?
Service is poor. Like so much else in Nepal, it can be a frustrating experience.
At the time of a movement, there's always this euphoria and a sense that you can do anything. But I think almost what's more important is who organizes the reality that comes after the movement. The political parties and the Maoists who have been in charge of restructuring Nepal have not done a very sincere job.
5 years on, the optimism has given way to disillusionment. After all the promises of those 19 days of revolutionary drama, the process of enacting real reform has proved much more difficult. Sabina Shrestha, AlJazeera, Kathmandu.
Spanish football club Real Madrid have stepped up security around manager Jose Mourinho after a man tried to stab him. The former Chelsea boss was attacked as he signed autographs at La Coruña airport in northwestern Spain. Mourinho escaped unhurt, but his bodyguard suffered a 4-centimeter stab wound. The incident happened last Friday, but has only just been reported. Japan has launched the latest version of its famous bullet train. Hundreds of passengers were on board the Hayabusa or Falcon as it pulled out of the Tokyo station on Saturday. It now travels at around 300 kilometers per hour. That will gradually be raised to 320 by the end of next year. The Shinkansen high-speed train has been around since 1964. The Falcon is the first new model in 14 years. Thousands of tourists have joined Rio de Janeiro's 6 million residents for the city's annual Carnival festivities. Celebrations got underway with the traditional handing of the keys to the King Momo, the carnival's symbolic head. He then declared what's called the biggest party on earth officially open. On Sunday and Monday, Rio Samba schools will compete against each other as the carnival reaches its climax.
A new world driven by new media.
This is a very peculiar moment in media history.
Analyzing the media's role in shaping modern history. The Listening Post, at this time on Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
You don't fight threats, you fight enemies.
Our core function remains the territorial defense of our populations and our member states.
Sanctions, do you think they will work?
A huge number of Western forces have not made huge progress.
The public no longer even believes that, we are there because we are building democracy.
Our empire is imploding. It itself is an illusion.
Empire with Marwan Bashar on Al Jazeera. It is in the details. A look. A connection. The moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Rhythms of resistance.
A part of the struggle, and popular resistance is art. Through my art, I resist. Resistance is my art, and my art is my war.
Musicians using music as a way to maintain their cultural identity.
I believe that when I sing to the world, I portray Palestine through my voice, my singing, and my songs.
Songs from the lost homeland. At this time on Al Jazeera.
Hello, I'm Divi Gopalan and you're watching Al Jazeera live from Doha. The latest from the conflict in Libya. Forces loyal to Muammar Gaddafi have attacked areas in and around the opposition-held city of AlJazeera, just west of the capital, Tripoli. Witnesses say at least 30 people were killed. The rebels say the area remains under their control, but the government says it has regained some areas. Tear gas and rubber bullets were used in Tripoli to break up an anti-Gaddafi protest after Friday prayers. But a rally by the president's supporters went on all afternoon. And in Egypt's second biggest city, protesters have stormed the state security headquarters. They say officials there were destroying information linked to past abuses. Premier Wen Jiabao has pledged to reduce inflation and corruption in his annual assessment of China's goals. He says the measures are necessary to maintain social stability. Residents of the Libyan town of AlJazeera say at least 30 civilians have been killed in fighting there between rebel forces and troops loyal to Muammar Gaddafi. On Friday, pro-Gaddafi forces attacked areas in and around the city. Reports say they pushed back the rebels to the central square. But the city, which is just west of the capital Tripoli, remains under rebel control. Now, these pictures were taken before rebels fought to take over the oil port of Ras Lanouf. It's halfway between Benghazi and Tripoli. And in the capital, tear gas and rubber bullets were used to break up an anti-Gaddafi protest after Friday prayers. The rally by the leader's supporters went on all afternoon. Now, the Libyan government has given our correspondent Anita McNaught limited access to report from Tripoli. She says heavy security has forced most of the protesters off the streets of the capital.
Well, we travelled for more than an hour through the streets of Tripoli today after Friday prayers when we were aware there were plans to stage some kind of a protest. But Tripoli itself, a city almost completely locked down, electronic communications cut off for the previous 24 hours, shops shut, practically no people on the street, and a very, very heavy security presence, police and army at major intersections near the two areas we wanted to see, Sushuma and Tajura. Now, fellow journalists actually were there when there was an attempt at a protest in both those places, but both times the security presence was so heavy that if anyone appeared who looked like they were a protester, they